Jimmy Butler's time with the Miami Heat has been nothing short of legendary. Joining the team in 2019, Butler quickly became the face of the franchise, leading them to 2 NBA Finals appearances and 1 win away from a third. Butler has transformed the Heat into perennial contenders with his unmatched work ethic and ability to perform on the biggest stages. His gritty performances in the playoffs have earned him a reputation as one of the league's most clutch players. However, despite the glory, Butler's tenure with the Heat may be reaching a crossroads. Injuries, age, and internal tensions have raised questions about his future in Miami. As the 2024-25 season approaches, Butler's next move will have a lasting impact on both his career and the
field
organization.
Goal, 8 first-half points for Butler.
But didn't matter.
When Butler joined the Heat in 2019, it felt like the perfect marriage. The Heat, known for their win-at-all-costs mentality, and Butler, a player whose intensity and drive matched their philosophy, seemed destined for success. After tumultuous stints in Chicago, Minnesota, and Philadelphia, Butler was looking for a fresh start. The Heat, fresh off a disappointing few years, needed a new face to lead them back to the top. Butler didn't just fill that role. He exceeded all expectations. His leadership, on and off the court, transformed Miami's culture, and the team quickly became a contender again. But now, after 5 years together, cracks in the relationship have started to show, and both sides face difficult decisions about the future. While Butler's talent has been undeniable, injuries have started to take their toll. In his 5 seasons with the Heat, Butler has missed 99 regular season games, a significant concern for a player central to the team's success. The 2023-24 season epitomized this struggle. Butler missed crucial games, including the Heat's first-round loss to the Celtics, as injuries derailed the team's hopes for another deep playoff run. Pat Riley, the Heat's president, didn't shy away from expressing his frustration with Butler's availability. In a June press conference, Riley bluntly stated that the Heat needed players who could be counted on every night. This was the first sign of tension between the franchise and its star player, hinting that the future might not be as certain as it once seemed. Riley's public criticism of Butler shocked many, but it was a clear indication that tensions were brewing behind the scenes. During his June press conference, Riley took issue with a social media post in which Butler claimed the Heat would have beaten the Celtics and Knicks had he been healthy. Riley responded forcefully, telling Butler to keep his mouth shut if he wasn't on the court to back it up. These sharp words from the Heat's president were unprecedented. For a franchise that prides itself on unity and discipline, this kind of public rebuke raised eyebrows. Was Riley losing patience with Butler's off-court antics? Or was this a sign that the Heat were beginning to seriously contemplate a future without their star? With Riley's comments lingering in the background, Butler has set his sights on free agency in 2025. Instead of negotiating a contract extension, Butler plans to play out the 2024-25 season and then opt out of the final year of his contract. This decision positions Butler for a potentially huge payday, but it also introduces uncertainty. As he nears his 35th birthday, Butler must prove he can still play at an elite level and stay healthy. If Butler has a strong bounce-back season, the Heat, or another team, could offer him a contract worth up to $243 million. But with his injury history and age becoming bigger factors, will the Heat take that risk, or is this the beginning of the end for Butler in Miami? As Butler prepares for his free agency decision, the Miami Heat have been quietly laying the groundwork for life after their star player. Over the past few seasons, the Heat have built a strong young core, with players like Bam Adebayo, Tyler Herro, and rising stars like Jamie Jaquez Jr. and Nikola Jovic. These young talents have shown flashes of brilliance, and the Heat's development system has always excelled at preparing players for bigger roles. Adebayo, in particular, is already a cornerstone of the franchise, and the team could look to build around him if Butler's era comes to an end. The Heat face a delicate balancing act, investing in their future while still contending for championships in the present. Under Pat Riley's leadership, the Heat have tried to balance 2 timelines. winning now with veterans like Butler, and building for the future with younger players. It's a strategy reminiscent of the Golden State Warriors approach. The Heat have relied on experienced veterans like Butler, Kyle Lowry, and Kevin Love, while simultaneously grooming their younger talents to take over when the time comes. This dual approach has kept the Heat competitive. But the question remains, how long can they maintain this balancing act? If Butler leaves in free agency, the Heat could shift focus entirely to their young core, but losing a player of Butler's caliber would significantly lower their championship odds. The team must decide whether to double down on Butler or begin transitioning fully to the next generation. For Pat Riley, this situation is not unfamiliar. As president of the Miami Heat, Riley has navigated the team through eras defined by stars, from Alonzo Mourning to Shaquille O'Neal, from Dwyane Wade and LeBron James to Jimmy Butler. Every time a star has left, Riley has found a way to rebuild and stay competitive. But Butler's situation may be different. The Heat are at a turning point, and Riley, now in his late 70s, must decide how much longer he wants to remain at the helm. Can the Heat replicate past successes if Butler leaves? Or will they finally enter a prolonged rebuild? Riley's legacy as one of the greatest basketball executives hinges on how he handles this next chapter. As Butler enters the 2024-25 season, he knows the stakes are high. This could be his last year in Miami.
When is the ball we working? That's crazy. When we ain't supposed to be here.
For Butler,
but when we is, then we still working.
Performing at an elite
I tell you what,
will be key to earning the lucrative contract he seeks,
I think I was trying
either
to be
from
great.
Miami or elsewhere. For the Heat, this season will be an opportunity to see whether Butler is still the player who can carry them deep into the playoffs, or if it's time to move on. Both sides are heading into a make-or-break year, and the decisions they make could shape the future of the franchise and Butler's career. Miami's strategic decisions in the coming months will be crucial. The Heat have shown a knack for making calculated moves to stay competitive while preparing for the future. Recent trades and acquisitions suggest a dual strategy, competing now and building for tomorrow. The team's recent attempts to acquire stars like Damian Lillard and their focus on developing young talent reflect a nuanced approach. The front office must balance maintaining a competitive edge with integrating new talent. This juggling act will determine whether the Heat can continue their playoff success while transitioning to a new era of basketball. The decisions made in the upcoming season will set the stage for Miami's next chapter, either reinforcing their position as contenders or reshaping their future. Looking ahead, the future of the Miami Heat hinges on several key factors. If Jimmy Butler remains, the Heat will likely continue to contend for championships while integrating their young talent. If Butler departs, Miami will need to make significant adjustments, focusing on developing their promising players and possibly seeking new stars. The Heat's ability to adapt and innovate will be critical in shaping their trajectory. With a mix of seasoned veterans and emerging talent, Miami has the potential to remain competitive. The next few seasons will be pivotal in determining whether the Heat can sustain their success and build a new legacy for the franchise. As the 2024-25 season looms, the Miami Heat stand at a pivotal crossroads. Jimmy Butler, who's been the face of the franchise for 5 seasons, will determine his future, and in doing so, shape the trajectory of the entire organization. Whether he remains in Miami or seeks a fresh start elsewhere, his impact on the Heat is undeniable. Should the Heat decide to part ways with Butler, the team will likely transition to a younger core led by Bam Adebayo, Tyler Herro, and promising talents like Jamie Jaquez Jr. and Nikola Jovic. However, if Butler stays and returns to his dominant form, Miami could once again challenge for an NBA championship. The stakes are high for both Butler and the Heat, as this season could be the final chapter in their partnership. Regardless of the outcome, the Heat will need to navigate a changing landscape, balancing the demands of winning now while preparing for life beyond their star. As this chapter nears its conclusion, a new era of Miami Heat basketball may be just around the corner.